6 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danushka Madhavala and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. The President says that the change demanded by the young generation will be kept in mind when a new economy is created in the country. Laws to create the new economy will be presented to the Parliament in the month of May. The biggest social security program is now being implemented in the country at present. The government has implemented several programs to facilitate the general public who travel to their native villages during the festive season. The Premier met the chairman of the Global Green Growth Institute, Ban Ki-moon, in Seoul recently. Foreign news, a new drone attack has been carried out on Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia power plant. And in sports, Kamidu Mendis has been named the ICC Men's Player of the Month. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that the change demanded by the young generation will be kept in mind when a new economy is created in the country. Main laws to create the new economy will be presented to the Parliament in the month of May. The same is due to be passed in July. The President expressed these views participating in the Kandy District Youth Conference yesterday. The government has implemented the biggest social security program at present. The government spent nearly 200 billion rupees during the last year to provide concessions to the public who were affected by the economic crisis in the country. Director General of the Presidential Task Force on Social Services, Ranjit Kirti Tennakoon, says that the number of Aswesuma beneficiaries has exceeded 1.85 million by the 31st of March this year. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardene says that the government has implemented several programs to facilitate the general public who travel to their native villages during the festive season. Transport services have been jointly provided by private buses, SLBC and the Sri Lanka Railways. The minister said that the people of the country were unable to celebrate the festive season due to the economic crisis which prevailed in the country. He added that the economy of the country has now developed up to a certain level and the present environment has enabled the people to celebrate the new year in a grand manner. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
At People's Bank, we empower your pride. People's Bank, pride of the nation.
Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardene met the chairman of the Global Green Growth Institute and the former Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, in Seoul recently. In the meeting, they expressed mutual appreciation on their close partnership and committed efforts to further strengthen bilateral relations across various sectors. Prime Minister Gunawardene emphasized Sri Lanka's commitment to change towards a greener and more resilient economy. The Premier highlighted key initiatives focusing on renewable energy, sustainable transport and urban greening during the talks with the former UN Secretary-General. Chairman Ban Ki-moon reciprocated the sentiment, commending the close ties between GGGI and the government of Sri Lanka, particularly with the Ministry of Environment. He underscored their shared vision for a sustainable future and expressed optimism about their collaborative efforts in enhancing resilience and adaptation to climate change. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardene says that the annual profit of the expressways of the country is around 5 billion rupees. The Cabinet has granted approval for Sri Lanka's expressways to be shifted from the Road Development Authority to a state-owned company called Sahasya Investment Limited. Except for the meagre income from expressways, the RDA depend almost entirely on the government's budget. Its component of debt guaranteed by the General Treasury is around 352 billion rupees. And that ends local news for now.
You have got a transfer.
That's all right, sir. They are all our children.
Right decisions with noble intentions bring pride. At People's Bank, we empower your pride.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Minister Prasanna Rantunga has expressed hope that Sri Lanka can become a mine-free country by 2028. Since 2002, the demining program has been carried out in Sri Lanka. Two other organizations, including HALO and MAG, are carrying out demining operations in Sri Lanka. 249,281 mines have been cleared so far. International community spent about $17.5 million for the project annually. The National Mine Action Center was established in 2010 with the aim of creating a mine-free country. Its mission is to coordinate and direct demining organizations. The present government, led by President Ranil Wickremesinghe, is carrying out many special programs to restore the livelihood of the people of the North and the East. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Vedamahatmya.
Watch Live is brought to you by
CIB Navy offer valuable gifts and gift vouchers, 25% discount for bank cards till 10th of April. Visit CIB today. CIB revives once always.
In Watchlight this evening, the final rites of any person may be conducted according to the religion or the last will of that person. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that a committee will be appointed in this respect and steps will be taken to enact the laws in the near future. The President expressed these views at an iftar ceremony held at the Jummah Mosque in Katukale, Kandy, and that came to you in Watchlight.
CIB Navy offer valuable gifts and gift vouchers, 25% discount for bank cards till 10th of April. Visit CIB today. CIB revives once always.
Coming up, World News.
The headlines first. A new drone attack has been carried out on Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia power plant. Palestinians have begun returning to Khan Yunis after the withdrawal of Israeli forces. And New Zealand decides to tighten visa rules for immigrants. The UN's atomic watchdog has warned a new drone attack on Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia power plant has raised the risk of a major nuclear accident. Russia and Ukraine was behind the attack, which is said injured 3 people. Ukraine has denied involvement. The giant Russian-held nuclear plant with 6 reactors is on the front line of Russia-Ukraine conflict. The UN's International Atomic Energy Agency has repeatedly warned against such attacks. IAEA head Rafael Grossi said the recent drone strikes was reckless and major escalation of the nuclear safety and security dangers facing the plant. Palestinians are beginning to return to Khan Yunis after Israeli armed forces decided to withdraw forces from southern Gaza. The city is almost in rubble after repeated Israeli attacks. However, Israeli Defense Minister said that the presence of armed forces would be maintained as a reduced single brigade. New Zealand has decided to tighten work visa rules in response to unsustainable migration levels. Authorities say the low-skilled applicants now have to fulfill English language requirements and are allowed to stay for 3 years. This duration has come down from 5 years. Immigration Minister Erica Stanford said that getting immigration settings right is the plan of the government. This aims at rebuilding the economy, she added. A near record number of people migrated to New Zealand last year. Employers are responsible for ensuring that migrants meet the specified requirements before offering them a job. And back to the headlines of the world news. A new drone attack has been carried out on Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia power plant. Palestinians have begun returning to Khan Yunis after the withdrawal of Israeli forces, and New Zealand decides to tighten visa rules for immigrants. And that ends world news. On to development news. The Slave Island flyover has been vested with the public. The Slave Island Bridge has been constructed over the railway line joining Akbar Mawata and Uttarananda Mawata in Slave Island. The Road Development Authority carried out the project at a cost of 52,800 million rupees, and that was development news.
Moving on with sports news.
Kamidu Mendis has been named the ICC Men's Player of the Month. This comes after his historic efforts at the crease that helped Sri Lanka comfortably win the first test in their ICC World Test Championship showdown against Bangladesh in Sylhet recently. Kamidu Mendis has beaten off competition from Ireland pacer Mark Adair and New Zealand speedster Matt Henry to win the ICC Men's Player of the Month award for March 2024, and that was sports news.
Go ekak tiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීත හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Hambantota International Port was the primary awardee at the Board of Investment of Sri Lanka's 45th Anniversary Awards held at the Presidential Secretariat last week. The post was recognized as one of the most significant foreign direct investment contributors to Sri Lanka from 2017 to 2022, with an investment of $1.4 billion. China Merchants Port Chief Representative and Hambantota International Port Group CEO Johnson Liu received the award from President Ranil Wickremesinghe, and that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak tiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news. Treasury bills worth of 6,500 million rupees will be issued. According to the central bank, the auction will be held tomorrow. They will mature in 91, 182 and 364 days respectively. And that was economic news.
Weather report.
The meteorology department says showers or thundershowers may occur at several places in the western, Sabaragamu, southern and northwestern provinces and in the Monragala Mana and Anuradhapura district after 2 p.m. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the western, central and Sabaragamu provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts during the morning. That was the weather report, and prior to concluding this news broadcast, the headlines once again. The President says that the change demanded by the young generation will be kept in mind when a new economy is created in the country. Laws to create the new economy will be presented to the Parliament in the month of May. The biggest social security program is now being implemented in the country at present. The government has implemented several programs to facilitate the general public who travel to their native villages during the festive season. The Premier met the chairman of the Global Green Growth Institute, Ban Ki-moon, in Seoul recently. Foreign news, a new drone attack has been carried out on Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia power plant, and in sports, Kamini Mendis has been named the ICC Men's Player of the Month. With that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, and it's back to Mariela Vandot on the other side to continue with the rest of the programs this Monday evening. Over to you, Mariela.